It's Miss Jackie, and I'm going to talk about the handouts I sent with some strategies to facilitate language. So I'm just going to review them quickly and try to show you how they look. So the first strategy I'm going to review is modeling, and it is exactly what it sounds like. We're providing a model for what we want our child to say. So we want to model exactly what we want our child to say. So if they are pointing at the cookies to request cookies, we can model cookies or I want cookies. You don't want to say you want cookies or say you want cookies, say I want cookies, because that's not what we want them to say. So you need to model it exactly how you want your child to say it. You don't want them to repeat after you and say I want cookies or you want cookies, because that's not what we want them to say, right? We want them to say I want cookies. Um, so that's really important. And you want to try to model at your child's level. So if your child is nonverbal and maybe just pointing at the cookies, then you're only going to model cookies, one word. Maybe your child isn't even pointing. Maybe they're just looking at the cookies and you know that they want the cookies. So you can help them. Maybe you're modeling pointing at the cookies. You can even go hand over hand and show them how they would point to the cookies. Um, and then if your child, your child says 3-word utterances, then you can model 3 words. I want cookies. So you just want to make sure that you're meeting at your child's level. You know what they're capable of, what they're doing, so you can gauge that. And then after you model, you do want to just pause and kind of give an expectant look to encourage them to imitate you. So you can say, I want cookies, and then kind of pause, look at them expectantly, so that they have an opportunity to repeat after you. The next strategy goes hand in hand with modeling, so that's teaching imitation. And that's, when we model, that's what we want. That's our hope, right? That our child will imitate us. But some of our kids do not know how to imitate words, or they just don't understand that that's the expectation. So ways that we can teach that is first by teaching kids to copy actions. So developmentally, we learn to move around before we can speak. So it just makes sense to teach gross motor movements before trying to expect them to imitate speech. So we can do that. You can start by actually playing a game like where you're imitating your child and what they're doing. And then eventually you can shift into being the leader and seeing if they'll copy you. There's some examples on the handout about things that you can do, like clapping or blowing kisses or making animal noises. You can also do whole body movements like jumping or twirling or, acting like an animal. You might be hopping around like a frog, or maybe you're slithering like a snake. You might be able to find like some yoga YouTube videos for kids, and you can both imitate the video. Be silly, be creative. You want to make it fun so that your kids are motivated and excited to participate. So the next strategy is to give 2 choices. And so, like it says on there, it lets kids feel like they're in control when they get to make a choice. You always want to make sure that you're okay with either choice. So you don't want to give a choice like, do you want fruit or a cookie? And then they respond cookie, but you don't have a cookie, or you decide it's too early for a cookie. The nice thing about giving choices is that kids feel like they're in control, but really it's you who's in control because you're deciding the options that they have. So you just want to make sure that you're okay with both of them. Let's see. So another reason to use choices is a lot of kids don't know how to answer open-ended questions. So giving them a choice helps them with that language. Like if you say, what do you want to eat? They might just say cookies, or they might not even have an answer. Whereas if you give them a choice, like do you want cookies or do you want fruit? You're already giving them a lot of those words. So it's a smaller jump for them to say want cookies or I want cookies. If you can show them the choices, either physically with objects, or if you have visuals for those can be super helpful. And for our nonverbal kids, um, they can point to what they want. That's how they can make a choice. Or maybe they're just looking at what they want, and then you can help them point and model the word for them. So then the next strategy is to give one at a time. And that just allows for more learning opportunities. So if you're working on requesting at snack time, let's say, and your child is eating crackers, they can request a cracker, and whether that's with words or signs or using a C board or device, but they can request it, and then you would give them one, and then they have to ask again for another one, and so forth. So you can do that with, foods. You could do that with toys, like maybe you're building Legos and you give them two at a time, and they need to keep on asking for more. Or maybe you're blowing bubbles and you just blow it once and then you wait for them to request it again. So it's just giving them more opportunities to practice and learn. And then the last strategy that I'm going to talk to you about is using visuals. If you watched my video on visual schedules, then you already heard some of this, but visuals can be really powerful for kids to help understanding and also to help expression. So maybe your child doesn't understand when you say it's time to shower, but then they see the picture here and they know what you're talking about. Maybe your child is nonverbal but knows that pictures represent objects and concepts, and so they're able to use those to communicate. So visuals are super powerful. They can be really helpful, and if you have any questions about using those, please let me know. Or if you need access to some, I can try to make some for you or find them. I'm not going to talk too much about sign language. That's also on that page. But just like visuals, it's another way to help understanding and expression for some of our kiddos. And if you're interested in learning more or using sign at home, let me know that too, and I can look for resources for you. The last thing I'll say is you can see there's a list under each strategy and a list of routine activities like getting dressed or washing your hands. And that's just for you to start thinking about how you can incorporate these strategies into different routines. So if you have questions or want some suggestions for incorporating a certain strategy in certain routines, you can just let me know, and I'll help you out with that.